Hello to the gamers and welcome back. My name is Mikey Dubs and today I'm going to be giving you my picks for the top 3 most underrated weapons in OG Modern Warfare 2. All weapon data from this video is taken from a spreadsheet created by Marvel 4. The link will be in the description. Now I haven't tested every single thing that's on this spreadsheet, but for the most part everything that I have looked at has been true. We're going to assume that the information given by this page is accurate. Make sure to drop a like on the video, subscribe if you're new. And anyways, without further ado, let's get into the video. Coming in at number 3, we have the L86 LSW light machine gun. Why is it underrated? Well, it has some of the worst per shot recoil of any fully automatic gun in Modern Warfare 2. And even though its recenter speed is a brisk 1700, because it fires so fast, the recenter speed can't keep up, making the LSW easily the least accurate LMG in the game. I believe the community has mostly turned its back on the L86 because recoil isn't that fun of a mechanic to play around. But let's talk about why the L86 is actually super good. Number 1, damage. The L86 is the highest damage LMG in the game. Its 40 base damage is the same at all ranges, making it always a guaranteed 3-shot kill in 2 shots with stopping power. The RPD and the AUG H-bar also have the same damage, but they have slower fire rates, being a decent 705 and 689 rounds per minute respectively. The L86, however, rocks a staggering 800 rounds per minute, bringing its total damage per second to 533, enough to kill 5 enemies in 1 second. That is the highest DPS of any long-range weapon in the game. Number 2, its reload. A big downside to most LMGs is that they are slow and clumsy feeling. They take forever to aim down sights and reload. While the L86 aims the same speed as other LMGs, the same cannot be said for its reload speed. The L86 reloads in 5 seconds with a completely empty mag and in 3 seconds with a partially full one. Compared to the 10 to 7 second reloads of the RPD and the MG4, the L86 reloads in the blink of an eye. Now, the AUG H-bar does have a slightly faster reload time at 3.4 seconds from empty and 2.4 from partially full, but the L86 magazine size is so much bigger than the AUG's at 100 to 42. Since you have 200 starting rounds instead of the AUG's 126, and you can already reload quickly, you can toy around with other perk 1s that aren't scavenger or sleight of hand, like Bling or Marathon. And the third reason I think it's good is because unlike other weapon categories, the LMGs in Modern Warfare 2 have a way to reduce their effective recoil. The grip attachment. The L86 loves the grip attachment as it really allows you to control it at short to medium range without having to partake in dreaded tap fire shenanigans. The recoil problem hurts weapons like the F2000 so much more than the L86 because the F2000 has no grip attachment option. If it did, I'm sure it would get more use. Like I mentioned before, Bling is a viable option on the L86. This allows you to take grip as a default attachment, and don't let me catch you with a thermal sight out there, even though the concept isn't horrible. At gun number 2, dreams come true, we have the MP5K. Why is it underrated? Well, the MP5K, similar to the L86, has a recoil problem. It has the highest vertical recoil in the class, and it's just barely behind the UMP for highest horizontal recoil. But let's get into it. Number 1, back to damage. The MP5K ties the UMP for highest close range damage per bullet in the class at 40. At long range, it does fall back in line with the other SMGs at 20, with the UMP staying at a ludicrous 35. But if you take fire rate into account, the MP5 DPS is 596, which is even higher than the L86's from before, but the L86 doesn't have fall-off damage. 596 damage per second is insane, and it's highest in class, even higher than the Vector with rapid fire. Of all the SMGs, only the MP5K and the UMP have access to no stopping power 3-shot kills. This damage profile makes the MP5K the most prolific close-range primary in the game. Okay, so we know the MP5K has ridiculous up-close damage. If only there was a way to control that kick. Well, ladies and gentlemen, steady aim is perfect. Steady aim allows you to bypass recoil altogether at the cost of using a hipfire's bullet spread. But with how much damage this thing does, you only need to land a couple shots and it's over. Most of the time, when I run lightweight and steady aim, my opponent evaporates before they even fire a shot. In the game on screen, I'm actually using Ninja instead of steady aim, as the lobby I was in was full of campers. I highly recommend trying out a Ninja Marathon lightweight combo, as it's extremely fun. Reason number 3 is Akimbo. Now, I typically don't run Akimbo primaries just because of how great some of the secondaries are at it. I personally feel like running double Akimbo isn't the best decision. I a lot of times like to have one weapon that's a little bit better at medium range and one that's a little bit better at close range, but that's just me. If you were ever wanting to try an Akimbo SMG out, the MP5K is the best outright. I have 2 videos on the channel of me rocking the MP5K Akimbo, and it shreds all the time, every time. With stopping power, you are talking a 2-shot kill. That means you can technically one-tap people if we fire 1 shot from each gun. There's not much else to say about MP5K Akimbo. It's broken. It's the best Akimbo option in the game, in my opinion, even better than the likes of the G18 or the Ravicas. Okay, and coming in at the most underrated gun in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 OG, we have the WA-2000. WA-2000 is a personal favorite of mine, and it gets dunked on by a lot of people for being the worst sniper option in the game. It gets a lot of hit markers, it sounds pitiful, and its ammo efficiency isn't very good. So why would we use it? Number 1 is Perk 2 flexibility and damage. Perk 2 is where you find the most impactful perks. You have stopping power, lightweight, hardline, cold-blooded, and danger close. All of which are insanely powerful. But when you use snipers, you kind of get stuck to just using stopping power. The Barrett and the Intervention both require stopping power to one-hit an enemy in the lower torso, and the M21 needs it to one-hit enemies in the upper torso. The WA-2000, despite its lack of one-hit capability to the stomach, needs absolutely zero help from stopping power to one hit from the chest and up. I've explained it before on the channel, but basically all snipers have a base damage of 70 that doesn't fall off. Stopping power is a 1.4 times damage multiplier, which brings our total damage per shot with snipers up to 98. Now, 98 is not enough to kill a 100 damage enemy, but luckily you can boost that number up a bit more with a well-placed shot. But different weapons have different damage multipliers for different locations. The WA-2000 is unique in that its only damage multipliers are 1.5 times multipliers, and it has 3 of them: the head, the neck, and the upper chest. So if we take our 70 base damage and multiply it by our 1.5 times accuracy multiplier, we get a total shot damage 105, which is enough to one-shot. But that's it for the WA-2000's multipliers. It gets nothing for the lower torso, unlike all the other snipers in the game. So that means, regardless of stopping power, the WA-2000 will always one-shot from the chest, the neck, and the head, and will always two-shot everywhere else. That is, unless the enemy is already injured, of course. So if you want to ditch stopping power and run something like Hardline, go ahead. It's a very unique sniper that is actually quite powerful in my opinion.